name is Hido, and welcome to the Pantheon, where today we're wrapping up the Dungeons & Dragons commander sets. And we're finishing off with someone from the Icewind Dale. It's Wulfgar of Icewind Dale. 5 mana for a 4/4 human barbarian. He has melee, so whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this combat. If a creature you control attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So that means that his melee ability actually triggers twice, so he can become just absolutely massive. You know, he's got a big hammer, he's going to swing it, and he's going to bring along his friends so they can all swing theirs as well. It's just a happy hammer swinging scenario. Shania Twain. Sinead O'Connor. If this is the sort of thing you're into, you know, I'm into swinging things all over the place, so please subscribe to my channel. We're going to make tons more videos like this of every single legendary creature ever printed, and it's going to take me a while, so I'm going to be doing this until the rest of my hair falls out. Without further ado, let's have a look at my top 5 for this guy. And in at number 5, we have Hanaway Garrison and things that create tokens. So, Hanaway Garrison, 3 mana for a 2/3. Whenever it attacks, put 2 1/1 red human creature tokens onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So, with our commander on the field, we're going to be making, that's right, 4. Well done, you did the maths. And this is just brilliant. You know, we can really create a massive board state out of absolutely nowhere. To go along with this, Krenko Tin Street Kingpin is 3 mana for a 1/2, and whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it, then create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to Krenko's power. So a lot of things, you know, you could go along the sort of creating more and more tokens by doing this, or you could dump a bunch of counters onto this, then swing in, get double the amount of triggers. So at a baseline, we're going to swing, get 2, and then 3 as well, and then it's just going to spiral out of control. It's really, really nice. Then we've got Vara Hellkite. If you want to go down the dragons sort of thing, it's called Dungeons and Dragons. I believe there's dungeons. And there may also be dragons involved. 8 mana for a 6/6 flying dragon. Whenever a dragon you control attacks, create a 6/6. So, you know, we're going to create 2 6/6s for every dragon that attacks. Pretty goddamn solid. And if, okay, dragons, they cost a lot of mana. But you can sort of veer into the changeling sort of route, have a couple of cheap dragon things in there. Then we've got Elder Garganoth. 5 mana for a beast with vigilance, reach, and trample. Whenever it attacks or blocks, choose 1. So we're going to choose to do it twice. Create a 3/3 beast token, so expand your board, or draw 2 cards, or gain 6 life. I'd skip over the 6 life generally. The drawing cards and the beasts are just so much better. And then here's one that I've loved this card for ages. I love the artwork. It just looks so beautiful, the colours on it. But it's pretty garbage, but it's something that you could put into the deck. Aetherwind Basker is a 7 mana 7/7 trampling lizard. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get energy for each creature you control. Then you can pay an energy, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So if you've got a really wide board state with all these tokens that we're creating, this can generate absolutely massive amounts of energy that you can pump into it, and it could become a massive lethal attacker. Really, really awesome. I love a big lizard. Who doesn't? Then, going along the token sort of strategy, Hellrider, 4 mana for a 3/3 devil with haste. Whenever a creature you control attacks, Hellrider deals 1 damage to a player or planeswalker it's attacking. So that doubles, loads of damage. All those tokens, even before combat damage has happened, going to be dealing absolutely massive amounts of damage. Then we've got the Hero of Oxen Ridge, another great card with tokens. 4 mana for a 4/2 with haste, so it can attack straight away. Battle Cry, so whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+1. So it's actually going to get +2/+2, thanks to our commander's ability. And whenever it attacks, creature with power 1 or less can't block this turn. So actually, in fact, with our commander, creatures with power 1 or less can't attack, can't block twice. That means nothing. Great. I'm glad I pointed it out. And at number 4, we've got Druid's Repository. And, you know, generating mana through attacking and things like that. So 3 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, put a charge counter on it. So that'll trigger twice. We get 2 charge counters for each creature attacking. If we're going down the token route, this can generate absolutely massive amounts of mana. Remove a charge counter from it to add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. So it's really, really good. Stores you all your mana, and then you can splurge all of that on a later turn. To go along with this, we've got Grand Warlord Rada. 4 mana for a 3/4 with haste. It's an elf warrior. And whenever 1 or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red and or green. Until the end of turn, you don't lose that mana as steps and phase end. So that's going to happen twice. And this, again, works exceptionally with all of the tokens we're going to be making. Then we've... sorry about that. Oh no! It's an alarm! The alarm has stopped. Savage Ventmaw is a 6 mana 4/4 with flying. Whenever it attacks, add red, 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 and green, green, green. Till end of turn, you don't lose that mana of steps and phase end. So, in fact, when you attack with this, you're going to be getting twice that amount. So you're going to be getting red, 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 green, 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 green. Nice. So, an excellent bit of ramp on attacking dragon. And Aggravated Assault, I can't mention it without mentioning the Ventmaw. 3 mana for an enchantment. Pay 5, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. Play this ability only in time you could play a sorcery. So with a Savage Ventmaw, you attack, you get the 12 mana, use 5 of it to untap everything, attack again, you get 12 more mana, and just your opponents fall into, a malaise. They're dead. Which brings me on to number 3. And at number 3, we've got Pathbreaker Ibex and ways to sort of win the game. 6 mana for a 3/3. When it attacks, creatures you control gain trample and get +X until end of turn, where X is the greatest part among creatures you control. Now, our commander, pretty big dude, solidly built lad. But we're going to be playing green and red, and we have a lot of big creatures. So this triggering twice is going to be absolutely devastating because it's going to give +X, then trigger again and give an additional whatever. It's going to be absolutely massive, really will win you the game. Then we've got another one, Bear Umbra, 4 mana for an aura, enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2, and whenever this creature attacks, untap all lands you control. So, it's sort of good. You have to have things that you can activate abilities on because you're going to attack, then in combat, you're going to get the trigger to untap your lands twice. So, you float all your mana, then you untap again, and you need to use that mana there and then. So you need something to pour that mana into. But it's just a little cool thing you could be doing. Then we've got our Gentum Armor, 6 mana for an equipment. Crit creature gets +6/6 whenever a crit creature attacks. Destroy target permanent. So we can just blow up 2 things at a time. Just pew, pew, pew. Your blockers are gone. Jesus. Then we've got Galia of the Endless Dance. A green and a red for a 2/2 with haste, so it can attack straight away. Other satyrs you control get +1/+1 and have haste, so you could go down the satyr tribal deck, but I think you'd want Galia as your kind of here. But the thing I'm interested in is whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. So we can end up discarding 2 cards at random and drawing 4, so that's a nice bit of card advantage in a little hasty body. Which brings me on to number 2, and at number 2, we've got Dave here. Look at him, the big bulky man who's sniffing a rose. It's Hans Eriksson, 4 mana for a 1/4. Human Scout. Whenever it attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put it into the battlefield tapped and attacking, defending player or planeswalker they control. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. When you put a creature card into the battlefield this way, it fights Hans Eriksson. So we're going to trigger this twice, potentially draw 2 cards, or get 2 big idiots flinging onto the battlefield. And Hans is going to fall down and cry. He's a weak little man, 1/4, just like Dave. But he's a good lad. He's a solid individual. Then, why don't we cheat more things into play then? Ilhag the Raisebow, 5 mana for a boar god with God. I believe in the might of God. Is a trampling boar god. Whenever it attacks, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Return that creature to your hand at the beginning of next turn step. So this is really good. We get 2 of those creatures coming in, so not only are they attacking, but at the end of turn, if they survive, they return back to our hand. So if we're putting in enter the battlefield effects, we're going to get muchos value from that. And when it dies, there's a bunch of nonsense about putting it onto your library. Who cares? Sneak Attack is the epitome of this sort of effect. 4 mana for an enchantment. Pay a red, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste, sacrifice that creature at the beginning of the next end step. So if you filled your hands with a couple of different things, you can splurge it out and then get all of the attack triggers all in one massive go. Because they get haste, and just for a couple of red, you're going to be having all of your army swing. Although they will die at end of turn. Then, talked earlier about sort of playing a dragon deck. Minion of the Mighty is a really cool card for that deck. 1 red for a kobold with menace. It's 0/1, and it has pack tactics. Whenever it attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, you may put a dragon creature card from your hand into the battlefield tapped and attacking. So if we're attacking with this and we've got 2 dragons in hand, we can fling them onto the field. Yes, we won't get the triggers from them attacking because they're just put in tapped and attacking, but we can put 2 of them into play. Really, really powerful from a 1-drop. And here's a couple of cool cards that you want to be putting into play. They're not dragons, but oh well. With the rest of the cards, these work well. Kogla, the Titan Ape, is a 6 mana 7/6. When it enters the battlefield, it fights another target creature you don't control. So nice bit of removal there if we're putting it in. Then when it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Another excellent bit of removal. And then you can pay 3. No, you can't. You can pay 2 to return target human you control to its owner's hand. Kogla gain indestructible until end of turn. So we can even save our commander in a sticky pinch. Really, really cool card. And it just looks so imposing. Look at that artwork. The way that the light comes through the fur. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. And then we've got the Tarasque? I don't know what that means. Set 9 mana for a 10/10 with haste and ward 10, which means counter the spell if someone targets it, unless they pay 10. So it's very much hexproof. As long as you've cast it, at least, anyway. So you've got to pay that 9 mana. You can't cheat it into play and get those effects. But whenever it attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. So a wonderful bit of removal, and we can fight 2 things whenever this attacks. Really, really nice. And then a personal favourite card of mine, Nakatal War Pride. 6 mana, it says it on the this side. If you look at my card, that's mana. 3 green and 3 for a cat warrior. Must be blocked by exactly 1 creature if able. It's a 3/3. Whenever it attacks, put X tokens into play tapped and attacking where the copies that are copies of it, where X is the number of creatures defending player controls. Remove the tokens from the game at end of turn. So the cool thing about this is, yes, when you attack with it normally, you get a token for each of the blocking creatures. Okay, they're going to block it. Maybe we'll kill some things. But with this card, we get double that amount. So they can only block 1 of them, and all of the rest will get through. Absolutely fantastic and works great with this commander. Which brings me on to number 1. And at number 1, we've got Aurochs Herd. And when I was looking for this, things that trigger on attack, there's a couple. But these really stood out to me. I've always liked Aurochs. I've always wanted to find a place for them. And this guy, he just looks like he'd be sort of a herder of Aurochs. 6 mana for a 4/4 with trample. When it comes into play, you may search your library for an Aurochs card, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn for each other attacking Auroch. So it's a really cool tribal card, and all of the Aurochs care about attacking. So we're going to play Aurochs. I mean, you're looking at the grand total of Aurochs in the game here, but using things with Changeling and stuff like that, we can make a lot of other things Aurochs. We've got Bull Aurochs. Bollocks? Bull Aurochs. 2 mana for a 2/1 with trample. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each other attacking Aurochs. So it's going to double that. Wow. Absolutely phenomenal. Then we've got Aurochs. 4 mana for a 2/3 with trample. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each other attacking Auroch. Really, really awesome. And then finally, Rimehorn Aurochs. 5 mana for a 3/3 with trample. And when it attacks, it gets +1/+1 for each other attacking Aurochs. Then you can make 3, 2, 1 of it having to be a snow mana. So if you're going to play this, play snow basics. Target creature blocks target creature this turn if able. Really, really cool. A nice sort of threat and effect. Aurochs are the future. Look at these big snowy beasts. And then, as soon as we're now playing a tribal deck, Shared Animosity is a great card for this. 3 mana for an enchantment. Whenever a creature you control attacks, it gets +1 so until end of turn for each other attacking creature that shares a creature type with it. So it's the Aurochs ability, and because this is a permanent that's triggered by things attacking, this will happen twice. So we double Aurochs the Aurochs that are already Aurochsing. Alright? Then, I said it's about changelings before. Here is a cheap Aurochs. It's a Mass Vandal, 2 mana, 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Really, really nice. You can get a nice bit of value of it, and it's an Aurochs on the field for later. Then we got Realm Walkers, 3 mana for a 2/3 with changeling, so it's an Aurochs. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Obviously going to be Aurochs at this point. You look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast Aurochs spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. Really, really cool and just so flavorful. Who doesn't love a nice slab of Aurochs meat? And those are my top 5 cards for this commander. You know, not a competitive deck, but I think it's really quite fun. Aurochs, I love them. Those big, hairy beasts. They're great. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.